I would like to invite Sri for this occasion. She'll be contributing a few sentences regarding how this millet can be, how or whether it can solution for the malnutrition in India. So I would like to invite Sri for the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am. And I would like to welcome Sri ma'am to do the presentations.
Hi all, very warm good evening. And I just shared my screen. Can you all view this?
Yes.
Okay. 1 second. Yeah. So, hope you all had your coffee. So, let's go into the content because it's already late. My topic for the day is diet enriched with millet. Can it be the answer for malnutrition in India, free India? So what is your thoughts? Just keep pondering yourself. And before going into the session, I like to introduce few words about myself. Basically, I'm a nutritionist, and then my PG and PhD is in clinical psychology. I'm also an art therapist, and I'm a firm believer of traditional things. And being born and brought up in agriculture family, millets is nothing new for me. It is all a old thing. So anyway, I would like to talk about the old wine in the new pot, because since it is an International Millet Year, everywhere there is a fancy word about millet. So what is millet? And before that, let's just have a few notes on malnutrition. So as we all are aware that malnutrition is like undernutrition, stunting, wasting, and micronutrient deficiencies, overnutrition. So all three together is called as malnutrition. And India is like leading in the world in child malnutrition. That doesn't mean that our adult are well nourished. Even adults and geriatrics are malnourished, and our women are severely malnourished. So in the area of children, we are leading on the top as of the report by UNICEF. And like recent National Family Health Survey 5, that is on 2021, their key finding is 36% children under age of 5 are stunted, 19% are wasted, nutrients are wasted, they are thin for their height, 32% are underweight, 3% are overweight, and children born to the mothers with no schooling, that is the poor literacy, is also showing its lowest quintile. They are also undernourished. So in contradictory, as we see, malnutrition is only lean, stunted and all those things. Malnutrition is the key contributor to obesity in India. All of us are aware of thin fat Indian. So as per again UNICEF at last, India is predicted to have more than 27 million obese children, representing 1 in 10 children will be globally obese by 2030. And we ranks 99th in the list of 193 countries, that is 50%. And the economic impact is going to be very badly affecting us. This malnutrition is going to take our healthcare cost in a very adverse stages. So what is the bigger problem for malnutrition? Mainly, we Indians have that tendency of getting fatter, especially in the middle circumference. Our visceral obesity is high because of our climatic conditions, and we people are undernourished and overnourished. You might have all noticed that our girls are very undernourished before marriage. They are all slim like Simran and overnourished or very fat after one delivery. So this thin fat Indian is a genetical map which is happening in our special Indian subcontinent gene type. So this is another thing we have to look in and we have to work on. Overweight and obesity are results of overnutrition, but overweight and obesity doesn't mean that the person is getting a right kind of nutrient. Most obese people are micronutrient deficient. So that is the very important thing we have to note. So what are the approaches to combat this malnutrition? Food security, nutritional security, health security, and economic security. These are the very important securities we need to combat malnutrition. But we have another biggest problem. What is it? Nutritional illiteracy. So when we talk about nutritional illiteracy, we cannot skip this Panchatantra story of the greedy mouse. A mouse, when it sees a whole bucket of maize or grains, it just runs deeper, deeper, deeper. And it got more fat, it couldn't come out of the smallest hole where it enters. This is what happening with our parents in today's ages, not only today's, even since 70s, 80s. Our parents are totally illiterate about the right kind of nutrition. And whatever comes on TV or whoever neighbor says something, somebody says something, this is very good for your child. They just push, overfeed until that the child totally stops or the child get obese. But they are not giving the diversity. It is like one thing, oh, this is good, just keep pushing with that one. The diversity is not given, and the information given to them will be like very simple. Banana is good, so I can give banana chips. Potato are good, I can give a fryams. This kind of, when something is good, it is not all good with every way of preparation. That is what our people lack knowledge about. When we say ragi is good, we are now seeing all ragi munches on TV advertisement, and our people will be rushing behind that. So this is the very important illiteracy we have to educate our people about. So now we have to enter into the millet and discuss on the scientific areas, why it is good for malnutrition-free India. So as I said earlier, ragi is not a new age food. It is the first crop, and it has been used over years and ages. If you see that our Vedic scriptures, there is a lot about these grains. For example, the tina is used for Lord Muruga. They even give today, there is a Naivedya of tina, and for Ganesha, there is a different thing. For Shiva, Chama, and for Vishnu, it is Muttari, Ragi. So these kind of things are very much used in our Vedic scriptures, and India has been long grown millets, and very important, South India, especially first leading millet agriculturist or Karnataka, then comes Andhra Pradesh. Now the rice bowl of India is not first in millet cropping, it is second, and third is Tamil Nadu, then Punjab and Chhattisgarh is also the basic agriculturist for ragi. So only with this much of agriculture, how are we going to, like very less sunflower we are cultivating, we are making huge amount of sunflower oil. So what is it going to happen? How it is going to affect our scenario? But before that, entering into the political questions, we can see some scientific questions too. So about the nutrients in millets, I'm not going so deep in micro and macronutrients because our next speaker, Madam Kalpana, is going to speak on that. So I'm just touching this part because I have another thing to give most important concept. So when it comes to nutrients, it is 5% less caloric than any other normal grains and 15% of less carbohydrate, but it is of complex carbohydrate. So this complex carbohydrate will give us a sustained release, and thus it makes it a good carbohydrate. It is not an immediate release, it is a sustained release. So whatever carbohydrate we get from this is even very good for every organ of our body, and brain consumes a very important complex carbohydrate supports in the mental well-being. And when it comes to other nutrients, it is 36% more protein when compared to other grains, 96% of fiber, 42% of phosphorus, 88% of calcium, 76% of iron. Calcium and iron are very important deficiency we are having in our children. And when it comes to phosphorus and sodium, that is what the very biggest problem to our geriatric clients. So what are the health benefits? Already Uma had said several times, just reinforce. It is a gluten-free and it is rich in dietary fiber, rich in micronutrients, especially all the minerals. calcium, iron, and phosphorus, selenium, magnesium. Magnesium is very important to note that most of the millets have good amount of magnesium, and it is low in glycemic index except finger millet. But still studies have two different versions, that the glycemic index is high, but the glycemic load is not so high, but it is still on studies. And water absorbing and bulking property is quite high in ragi because of its gluten-free nature and high fiber. So it reduces it controls the hunger, and our metabolism is eased. By this way, it reduces our irritable bowel syndrome. It also acts as a detoxifying agent. And most of the clients, when they come after the fat diet, also come after some post-surgical or post-steroid treatment, I would suggest them to take maximum of millet so that it will be helping for the detoxification. And the fermentation process in the millets, that gives a wonderful probiotic feeding formula. So it helps in the inner ecosystem too. And very important, the phenolic compounds like antioxidant, anti-mutagenic, anti-osteogenic, anti-inflammatory, antiviral, and platelet aggregation. These makes the millets very, very mightier than other grains. The total antioxidant capacity is higher due to their high total carotenoid and tocopherol content, which varies from 78 to 366 in different millet varieties. And another important thing, micronutrients, we have to say the millets have a very good amount of niacin. This is very important. When we talk about the iron or any other B complex micronutrient deficiency, niacin is very important. And any millet as a functional food, that is very important. As a functional food, they are very rich source of fiber, antioxidant, complex carbohydrate. This way, what happens is, it just gives a very biggest beneficial effects in reducing the CVD, cancer, or even other non-communicable diseases, NCDs, okay, diabetes, or any other non-communicable diseases. And in few vitro and animal studies, it has been studied that it supported the function as a functional food in controlling the anti-aging or degenerative diseases. Millets have potential for protection against age onset degenerative diseases, especially in psychological conditions like Parkinsonism and other, even for children with the multiple conditions, Asperger's or ADHD, we recommend millets for their mightiness and controlling the vibrant cognitive states. This is the main area I want to indulge in, that is bioavailability of nutrients. As I said earlier, when it is said to be a very good food, what we forget is give it in any form. That is good. That is not the way when it comes to nutrient. That's why what we study on food service, the cooking methods are very important. So like the cooking methods, how the bioavailability is increased is what we have to understand when we dietitians recommend it scientifically. So the millets, the hard and even naked grains contain adverse anti-nutrient properties too. So though the high fiber content is present, some anti-nutritional properties like phytates, tannins affect the bioavailability of the minerals. Some studies say the absorption of iron tends to be lower from the millets, from rice or wheat. Like even from rice, bread rice, you can absorb more iron than the millets. How can it be solved? Because millets are rich source of iron. How can we solve this? So before going into that, I can say that not only pilot or the anti-nutrient, there are saponins which affects the absorption of vitamin A and E. Phenolic compounds, as I said initially, reduces the amino acid absorption and bioavailability. Enzyme inhibitors reduces the protein digestibility, and lectins and hemoglutins, these reduces the entire nutrient absorption. So how can we make this mightier for our absorption? like when you feed the birds, the bird can remove the husk by itself, but not the human body. So how can we reduce? Is simple by fermentation, milling and soaking, germination, and through exogenous enzyme formation. This exogenous enzyme formation we are not doing in a home-based cooking, but it is happening in the industrial-based polishing and kind of things. So when I go into the processing techniques, anti-nutrient reduction strategies is the processing technique. The age-old formula, I always wonder who the person might have. Like whenever we are very common users of finger millet, ragi. When it is fermented, it gives a wonderful flavor for me. I just love that flavor, and I just go and see how much it is fermented. So we don't know who has found this fermentation and all, but with this fermentation technique, especially milling the thicker grains, husk, decortication or seed cord separation, seed gradation, these are mostly done on the forming level itself. Like they will just break it in like a semolina, or there we can also see the popping conditions, malting, and other heat and cold extrusions also is done in industrial areas. So what we do in home fermentation, fermentation enhances the biological value, net protein utilizations by the body, and the contents of thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin is increased and absorbed by the body. Fermentation showed a significant reduction in phytates in several studies by 20% of tannins, 52% of trypsins is reduced, and 32% at the end of 24 hours, resulting in increase of % mineral availability. That is calcium and phosphorus, iron, zinc will be well absorbed after 24 to maximum 24 hours of fermentation. We recommend 24 to 72 hours of fermentation. After 72 hours of fermentation, this becomes a real wine. So for the longer periods of time, it means the phytic acid will be reduced up to 64.8%. And in sorghum grains, even sorghum grains, some say that it is also a kind of millets, but sorghum is, we say sorghum and millets, both are separate. So in other millets, that 64% I mentioned earlier is in sorghum grains. When it comes to other millets, it is 72.3 and 54.3 of phytate after 96 and 72 hours respectively. So milling, fermentation, and germination are the three processes which improves the, reduces the anti-nutrient properties. The studies has continuously reported the phytate content will be reduced to 49.2 in milling, 66.5 in germination, and 33% in fermentation. So milling is mostly for the heavy huskful grains. So where the seed coat will be removed and decortication has taken place. So this heavy and thick is also called as positive millets. This will be removed with the seed cortication. If it is not, the seeds are not removed properly, it will not be like able, the kids and all will not be able to digest, or even it will not be palatable for us, and we cannot even cook it properly. And this bran is also a very good source of dietary fiber and edible oil. The de-oiled bran from millets has the advantage of having lesser silica than rice bran oils. We use this even in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu, I'm not sure very much, but in Andhra Pradesh, they generally use this de-oiled bran from millets. So what about this heat and cold extrusion, mostly popping, flaking, that we call this puri and kind of things, no? Expanded grains like murmura kind, parboiling for the better shelf life. This helps in deactivating the lipase substance, anti-nutrient lipase. They also have a better aroma and texture and can be converted into a variety of products which can be used as snacks and made into complementary food for like our yellow urunda, ellu kind of things. Even what you other one is called groundnut chickis, no? Like this, even our millets can be made into wonderful chickis or other kind of snacks for the children. Especially it can be used for a complementary feeding. Even we make different type of kanjis and even payasams with this. And germination and malting, as I said, it is a wonderful process. The sprouting process. Every millet should be sprouted up to 24 to 72 hours, not more than 72 hours. If it is getting not sprouting more than 72 hours, that is not a fresh grain, right? The sprouting has been shown to increase methionine and cysteine content in the food. So this helps very much in anti-cancerous properties. Malting increases the bioavailability of micronutrients. That is very important here. Amylase, that's why the children, especially in the weaning, we use this very much. Malting, like after sprouting, we powder it, and amylase reduces the bulk by breaking down the starch. Like for example, if you give the Kaipadi and kind of things, since there is no germination and live enzyme, the child will feel the gastric disturbances. But when this millets or sprouted, though it is high fibrous, sprouted and then malted, this will not give the gastric disturbances in kids. So malting also reduces the tannin content and phytate content, which improves the ionizable iron and soluble zinc significantly. It reduces the protein content and but improves the protein efficiency ratio. That is the very important thing, the bioavailability. It's not how much you consume, how much it is efficiently utilized the body. So this is improved by malting, and it also lowers the anti-nutrients. So in a nutshell, the bioavailability of certain nutrients such as iron improves considerably. That's why weaning foods prepared by root have higher iron. Popping and puffing enhances the protein and carbohydrate digestibility, especially complex carbohydrate. Soaking of millet prior to heating can activate the phytases and thereby improve the zinc availability. Zinc is very important for our mental well-being too, and zinc is also needed for absorption of iron and niacin. So most commonly what happens is our people today, when we talk so much about millet, why they are not using today? Because we know not only just you and me or dietitian or healthcare professional, but even a common man knows that this is very important and very good. But what happened, what made them to go for the ready to eat food is a simple reason. They say it is no or less time, because women also working and we cannot keep on going behind malting and sprouting and doing all the other things and convenient. And the other inspiration, like nobody is telling to us that this is having so many of nutritional benefits, but other products like oats or something else, it is always advertised. So we are influenced by them. The very important thing people always say is the color and texture of millets are not very comfortable, and palatability. And for some, like even in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, for some it will be like, hey, it's an old food, yeah, it's so boring. So these are the reasons commonly said by people, and it is why the usage has gone down. However, with the International Millet Year, we hope it will be improved. But I'm so scared when I saw, like, actually I was not ready to do this webinar, but when I saw this advertisement of one of the famous product, they are bringing the ragi crunchers and millet noodles. We cannot make noodles with the millet. Why? Because they are not comfortable, because the properties in the millets doesn't give it to need it because of their moisture. We cannot need it to make a rotis, except bajra. Other things are not comfortable to knead and made into this kind of noodles and all. So this is definitely not a single millet. It is definitely having some wheat or even maida to make it into the noodles. So we have to consider whether it is safe or not. And we have to, like, definitely there will be, I doubt there will be a trans fat acid hidden in that. So other possible alterations, millets, as I mentioned earlier, it is not a flour single to suitable for bakery products. So that way we cannot be sit and relax, because people can mix it with wheat or even maida to bring out the bakery products, because International Year is going to bring up already brought up a lot of startups. So people may go for papad, muruku and all is possible, but bakery products is not possible. It's definitely, it will be adulterated. And explosion cooking, that is like making pasta, vermicelli and other ready to eat foods also can come up. Again, we have to check out the safety of this, and we as dietitian should work on the parboiling of sorghum and millet is scanty, even though the potential has been established, whether it is really agricultured as much as the need. In conclusion, I would like to say millets are safe, food secured because of the sustainability for the changing climate. Because if I buy this for this year, I can keep the ragi flour without any problem for next 3 or 6 months. It is very sustainable and resistant to the crops are also resistant to the climatic stress and even pest. The crops are very much resistant to the pest and disease. We don't get much diseases in millet crops like as we get in the other rice or other vegetable crops. Vegetable crops are not at all sustainable. Rice are better, and millets are very much helpful for agriculturists. When it comes to the nutritional security, definitely millets are rich in nutrients. They have a bioactive compounds and better for amino acid profile. And if you ask me whether it is secure food for your health, definitely it prevents you from micronutrient deficiency to non-communicable diseases. And it is also gluten-free, which helps in irritable bowel syndrome and any other gut-related problems. And the low GI is the very important thing for our Indian subcontinental people, where our metabolism is more of visceral obesity. There, this low GI and complex carbohydrates give us a much better solution. And if you ask about the economical security, definitely we get a much economical. This is because our own crops, this has a good, it's a wild crops too. So the climate resilient makes it a better, and the investment is very, very low for the agriculturist, and sustainability is high. So how we dietitians are going to combat this nutritional, because whatever is maybe good, the best. But we have another story which says that even you have a diamond in your hands, you should know the worth of it, isn't it? So how are we going to combat the nutritional illiteracy? Community education is the very important. But when I say community education, people think it's only going and teaching in schools and colleges. Better go for a different ideas. Today, children want more better versions. We can do like in today also, even my health psychology students I'm training for their PhD, they have come out with a beautiful board games for food and nutrition. So some games can be introduced, quizzes can be conducted, other active sports also can be involved into the community education programs. Lifestyle revolution should be there. We should always keep on speaking against junk and fads. And please don't stop talking about negative foods. And please involve in more of scientific researchers. We need to study more and more about this. And to answer the question whether it can be the answer for malnutrition-free India, definitely yes. And my message for the day is, let's start it from our kitchen and inspire the nation. I think the question session will be after our dear Kalpana ma'am's session. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Sripriya ma'am. As we all know, she's a brain of Community Nutrition Forum, but I think the introduction for her was not yet done. So I would like to invite Minu Maria. I hope she's here.
Thank you, ma'am. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Please. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing our session. Hello?
Yeah. Yes, Minu, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Dr. Sripriya Shaji, MSc and PhD in Psychology and BSc Nutrition and Dietetics. She is an associate member, life member in Indian Association of Clinical Psychologists, life member in International Association for Holistic Psychology, and member in various other organizations. So her special achievements include founder of Women Mental Health India and founder member of Community Nutrition Forum Kerala. And she has many international and national publications and eminent speaker for many conferences. She is a person fascinated industry in research and publication. Presently, her own clinic, founder of Srisha Counseling, which is affiliated to World Federation of Mental Health. We are proud you to have here as a speaker, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Minu. And I think everyone is embedded with the speaks of Ms. Uma and also Ms. Shripriya Shaji. So now let's jump on to the next guest speaker.